So let's take a closer look. Were we born perfect? Well, you start to question that, right? Now that you see a couple patients that weren't exactly physically perfect, man, maybe the plan's not so good. Maybe somebody's got it wrong. We weren't born perfect. I'd argue with that. I'd say we are born perfect. We're born perfect to fulfill our role in nature, and that is to procreate, to have babies, to continue the race, get on and off, okay? It's important to realize from a philosophical standpoint the difference between being born and fulfilling your role and being happy, okay? Nothing about natural selection, nothing about nature, nothing about procreation suggests that in any way anybody's concerned about your happiness. So all this discussion about barefoot running and whether to run is not a discussion of were you born to do it, is it our right, are we entitled to do it? None of that makes any sense. It's, do you want to be happy? Do you want to run to be happy? And we need to make that choice independent of whether we were born to do it or not, okay? So we were born to survive only if we were the fittest, right? Survival of the fittest, natural selection. I believe in all that stuff, and that's great stuff. The vast majority of us, me included, I've got contacts, we'd be dead, right? Killed early. Most of us were born to die a miserable early death. And we're trying to cheat the system and live a long, happy life. Me too. So we do a lot of things every day towards that end. We weren't born to survive if we weren't the fittest. Nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evolution. That's a statement by a Russian philosopher back in Darwin's day. And he was making those comments at the same time Darwin was coming up with his theory of evolution, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Are we the fittest? We as a society, are we the fittest? No way, right? We're soft. I mean, geez, I shouldn't be here. Most of us who wear contacts or depend on shoes or whatever, we're not the fittest, and we've certainly softened the genetic pool from a purely physical standpoint, okay? We're not the fittest. Were we born to be happy? I already covered that. No, we're not born to be happy. Now, here's where it gets a little bit better, a little lighter. You can step off the ledge. It's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It's the one that is the most adaptable to change. That's why we're here. That's why humans are doing so well, so we can be excited again about ourselves and feel validated. We are really adaptable. We're adaptable to change. We may not be the fittest or the strongest or the best in the best shape or the best looking. Some of us don't have all our hair, but we're really adaptable, and that's why we're here, and we're great. So as you're trying to run, remember that. Be adaptable to change, okay? What should we do? What do you do? Okay, I've taken you back and forth. We're not fit, we're adaptable. I think, my opinion is, as I see patients and as I live my life, I think the important thing is to move. Choose to move. Make your choices so that you can continue to move. I don't like the decisions that I have to make sometimes that eliminate the ability for people to move. I don't make them anymore, but sometimes we'd make decisions to take things off legs and make terrible decisions that will end the person's ability to move. Choose to continue to move as long as possible. It's going to speak to your quality of life later on, okay? Nothing about your heart medicine or your cardiologist. They're all trying to keep you alive, but they're not talking about your quality of life. Moving is going to increase your quality of life. Make your decisions in an intelligent, thought-through way that are going to lead to you moving. We don't need to move to survive. We need to move to survive well. Running increases the quality of life, increases muscle mass, bone density, cardiovascular fitness, and helps to relieve stress. I feel a ton better when I'm running versus when I'm letting life get to me and I'm running the kids around, but I'm not exercising. Make decisions in an educated way that protect your ability to move. Okay? Maintain your weight. That's an easy one. That's a behavioral decision that we all need to take responsibility for. I love cookies, just like everybody. I want a cookie right now. I love cookies. But I sometimes avoid cookies because I've gained too much weight, and then I lose the weight, and then I eat more cookies. Maintain your weight any way you can. But again, your feet are the same feet whether you're 300 or 150 pounds. Listen to your body. Pain's an indication that something's wrong. Now, as an athlete, I see patients all the time. They go to other foot doctors and they say, well, stop running if it hurts. That doesn't make any sense to athletes, okay? Let's make a fine distinction here, though. As an athlete, you're going to run through a cramp. You're going to run through the pain of your muscles. You're going to run through being hungry or being out of breath, and you're going to push yourself, and you're going to realize you can do things you didn't know you could do. And that's important. Learn and mature and learn to realize that there's different pains. There's stress fracture pains. Your bones are breaking and you need to stop running. So learn to listen to that body in a more intelligent way. And I think that's the reason why we see most major marathoners and triathletes are a little older. They're not 18, 19. They're in their 20s and 30s. So I think they've become smarter and able to push their bodies to that edge without going over the edge. Consider any intervention carefully. So you talk about shoes. Shoes are an intervention, right? Start with the basic process. Start with bare feet and then go from there. Should I put shoes on? Well, consider that carefully. What kind of shoes should I put on? If you're talking about shoes, let's talk about just running shoes. There are three categories: neutral, stability, and motion control. Right? Neutral shoes tend to be lighter. And then in each category, there are shoes that are lighter and heavier. The heavier the shoe, the more it changes your mechanics, and we've got to assume it's not for the better. Do they interfere with your toe function? What's that heel counter doing? Right? All of those things are important. Only intervene when you need to and for a good reason in a logical way. Research your situation. So I think people ask me all the time, who should come in and have this biomechanical exam? Anybody who wants to move. It's good information to have. It's not, information is never going to handcuff you. It's only going to allow you to make better decisions. So I think coming in to take a look at your mechanics is critical. Let's find out. Do you have hips that rotate out? Do you have flat feet? Do you have knees that are internally rotated? Doesn't mean you can't run, doesn't mean you can't do anything, but you're just going to understand, and then you're going to be more aware if problems start to develop. So look at your own situation. Do some research on your genetic history. Look at your parents, look at their grandparents. Know what medically everybody had, right? If everybody in your whole family has every joint from the waist down replaced, man, maybe your joints aren't terribly durable, right? And we're all different. We all have different strengths and weaknesses. Maybe my cartilage isn't as strong as somebody else's, but my bones are twice as strong, and my ligaments and tendons are looser or more flexible, but their muscles are of different muscle twitch fiber dimensions. But whatever it is, look at your genetics. Your genetics history is a kind of a looking glass into what you got coming, and it's pretty reliable. I see parents all day long bringing kids in that don't have any pain with terrible flat feet, and I say, well, why are you here? And they said, well, because my knees are killing me, and they feel better when we do this, and I don't want my kids to have knee replacements and hip replacements and blah, 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 blah. So look into your genetic history. Look at your experience and your history. Every time you run, do your joints hurt? Do your bones hurt? Do your feet ache and ankles ache? Any pain that increases as you walk or run is an indication that there may be something mechanically wrong, not necessarily an injury. Obey the laws of mechanics. So I love to treat engineers because we're speaking the same language, and engineers realize that in terms of any system, forces and vectors and all of those things, they apply and they make sense. And it's the same thing with us. If you look at the body like I do, and my interest in medicine was always mechanical, I couldn't care less about livers or spleens or kidneys. I just have zero interest in that, but I love the mechanics of the human body, and that started from a very young age. And if you look at it, the body has been built to apply the laws of mechanics and to use them to our advantage, right? Our kneecap, it takes a tendon out, so it increases its strength by changing the direction of pull. Those same mechanics that work to our advantage can work to our disadvantage. So if you have mechanical problems, they're going to wear on you, they're going to beat on you. don't be disillusioned that they don't count. Move your feet, move your hips, your knees, everything towards neutral. I'm a big proponent of keeping things simple. I like orthotics. I like fixing flat feet because it changes the position your foot lands. Your foot lands in a different position and it changes the alignment of your bones. I don't believe in changing the position of your feet with your muscles. Your muscles are tasked with a lot of other functions, and your body as a supercomputer looks at the entire system and chooses where to put your foot with its entire being taken into consideration. You can't necessarily make those decisions on your own. So I don't think you should try and hold up your arches or move your feet in a certain way or rotate your feet in or out or turn your feet. So don't tell your kids to walk with their feet straight. We're not all perfect. Just accept your mechanics and understand them. A simple thing to do that I think is important is to talk about your leg length. 95% of us, and there were good studies done on this, 95% of us have some leg length discrepancy. Our right and left sides all develop independently, and so the vast majority of us have some instability. If you have low back pain that gets worse when you stand, chances are excellent your legs are different, and it's impacting that interface, that joint. It's a simple answer to take care of if you have it properly looked at. So those are some really practical things you can do. Give yourself every advantage. If you're going to get off the couch, great, and I think that's the right thing. But give yourself every advantage so that you don't get off the couch and make the wrong move, right? Keep the shoes and socks off the kids. I think that's a smart thing to do. I wasn't able to do it, but if you're a policymaker out there and you can make that happen, do. Let's keep those kids barefoot and walk them around in the dirt. I should say right off the bat that I think running barefoot's the best. The vast majority of the lectures I listen to are so boring because, and I hope this one's not boring, but they're boring to me because it's all a debate on whether barefoot running is the best. Should we be running barefoot? Man, to me, it seems obvious. It's common sense. We were all born barefoot, right? All the research shows most people are born barefoot. So I don't want to debate whether barefoot's best. Barefoot is best. There's no doubt about it. All those things that we talked about, the arguments, the desensitization, the shielding the foot from the knowledge of the impact, the holding the toes, the effect of the heel counter. I really believe all those things are true. So I believe, let me say it right now, that everybody should run barefoot. The question is how much. I have that bone that sticks out of the bottom of my foot. I can't run barefoot much at all. But I do run barefoot to see how I would run naturally, how I would run without that desensitization, without being shielded from the knowledge of the impact, without my toes being encumbered. So I run barefoot on the pavement to find my form, to find my stride, to find my cadence. And I think it's important to do that. Beyond that, man, you're not going to find me running barefoot ever. I need my shoes and I need my orthotics or else I can't do it. So you've got to choose your degree of running. How much are you going to run barefoot? Are you going to run barefoot once for 20 feet like me? Or are you going to run just a little bit at the end of a workout on the infield of a track, on some turf or on some grass? Are you going to run in the sand when you're on vacation in Mexico? Are you going to run in the dirt? I think those are good things to do. And how much you're going to do it? Who knows? I do see patients that where everything lines up. Man, my family's all super tough. They never break down. My history has been I've never been injured. I've never hurt anything. We look at their mechanics, perfectly neutral. They're great runners. They're of normal weight and height, and then they don't have any medical problems. And they're perfectly balanced from a mental standpoint. So boom, great, go run barefoot. You don't need shoes. Don't get involved. Don't even put on any sandals. Don't put on any huaraches. Just go run barefoot. Toughen those feet up, and perfect. All right. For anybody who's not in that situation, keep moving. If you can't run barefoot, put some shoes on. If you can't run with shoes, try some orthotics. Learn a little bit more about your mechanics. But just choose to move. Don't let anything get in your way. Keep moving. Use your common sense. Just, in terms of trail running versus pavement running, I think it's an important thing to run on the trails. Keep things as close to natural and the way things were meant to be as possible. Running on the pavement, your foot hits the ground in exactly the same way every single time. Why do we see so many overuse injuries? Because you hit your foot the same way, in the same direction every time. All those forces are pounded up through there. When you run on the trails and over the roots and jump over the stream and up the steps, your foot hits a little differently every time. It spreads the love in terms of force, right? So I think move towards natural surfaces as much as possible. This is the most important thing. Remember, it is always advisable to perceive clearly our ignorance. Don't get too excited that we know anything. We don't have a complete picture. And it's an important exercise. If you have a subject, study it to the end. Learn what everybody knows. Learn everything about it that anybody knows. And I've done that with the foot and ankle and with barefoot running. And what I find is that in terms of hard facts, we don't have much. So common sense is your best guide. Listen to everything. Take a holistic view of the whole picture. And as I said earlier, keep moving. Thank you.